What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking Agatha Episode 5, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. We were going to sing the entire song, but Dave put the kibosh on it. But before we get into all about Agatha, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I am fan-freaking-tastic. Still barreling straight ahead with all my busyness, but I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. It was nice to be these sessions here. They're always nice to sit here and review a show that just we can take our leisurely time with and enjoy a meh show, in my opinion. But we'll get to that part later. Yeah, I don't have anything else memorable. I talked to Fij, but I'm not going to tell you what he said. You're not going to like it. So I'll pass it on to Doug. How you doing, Doug?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. Um, yeah, for the most part, I think if you guys go back and you watch any of our previous videos where we've discussed Agatha, we've done a couple of them where, it's just been Agatha, a couple of them where we do it talking about the Penguin, and you may have noticed that usually when we're talking about these, one tends to get far more favorable reviews from us than the other. And I gotta say, I was a bit more surprised this week so far, but we will talk about that when we actually get to the review. Other than that, I'm doing pretty darn good. Like you, Dave, I'm pretty busy, just kind of charging through. I'm like a train on the tracks, but I put way too much coal in my stove, and now I'm just chugging along, chugga, choo choo, and I'm about to derail. So let's go.
Well, slow down, man. Slow down. Pump the brakes, Doug. Pump the brakes.
There are no brakes.
Is this the 30th anniversary of Speed?
No, it's an old-timey train, and it just, wasn't built very well.
It's the story train from Rick and Morty.
Oh, God. Yeah, right. There needs to be a reason for it. There needs to be conflict.
Yes.
But Keith, sir, how are you doing?
You know what, gentlemen? I am tremendous. I really enjoyed this week's episode. Watched it again today, right before the Tiger game, since they are in the playoffs right now. But we don't need to talk sports ball today because we got...
No?
Well, hopefully if the Tigers win, I may interrupt the thing to say, go Tigers. But we're talking Agatha. And I thought this week's was excellent. I'm going to transition over to the proper graphic, if you know what I mean. I really enjoyed this week's episode. I do have one complaint.
Okay.
It's too short.
It was. It was like 25 minutes. I mean, without the credits.
Right.
It was 25 minutes.
Like when they came out of, jumping to the end, shocking. When they came out, I was like, oh, we got a lot more going on. And then it ended, I'm like, oh, it's just a shorter episode.
I hate when they do that. Like, when you're actually getting into it and you're like, oh man, what's gonna happen next? And it's like, okay, I guess we're done then. I will see you next week. I gotta say, this is probably the first one of these episodes where the ending truly did feel like a cliffhanger. Like when it did end, I legitimately asked, I'm like, oh man, I wonder what happens next. And then I caught myself, I'm like, did I just ask that about Agatha all along? Am I genuinely curious what's next?
It sounds like it.
Trademark, copyright. Just that's ours.
Ding, 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 ding.
I didn't have the same feeling. It was kind of the feeling, in a way. You remember that episode? God, here we go. Remember that episode of The Acolyte in the middle of the season that we were like, oh, come on, show us. Oh, okay, now there's something. Well,
And
I got
then
about
they immediately shit the bed after.
Yes. And I got that feeling from watching this show. I got about halfway excited, and I said, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. We'll see what happens.
See, I definitely trust Agatha to do it better than The Acolyte. Like, this show hasn't been bad. There was some real bad episodes of The Acolyte. Where this has been, for me, it's been steady, a little bit above average, nothing great. But this one, for me, ticked up a little bit. And I was, kind of caught off guard by how much I enjoyed it because I was expecting the exact same thing. And it was, sort of the same thing because we saw a trial. We saw, basically the episode was them getting out of the trial. But we also saw the Salem 7 getting into the Witch's Road to come after them because they kind of left the door open because they brought Rio in, when Mrs. Hart died.
Which I didn't. I do like the fact that they're world building with how the magic systems work in the MCU. Now, this could just be the way it's working in Agatha All Along. Who knows if the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to continue with this is how it works. But I like the idea that they're dropping these little hints like, for instance, you need to have all these types of witches in order to open the door to the Witch's Road. Otherwise, it won't open. If you do a summoning, you have to make sure that you close the door. Otherwise, anything else can come through that summoning circle. Like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting to know. So yeah, I do like that they're not like, wink, wink, nod, nod. It's just sort of, this is the way it works. If you pick up on it, cool. If you don't, it's not going to really ruin anything for you. But I like it because every now and again, they'll drop some little bit of knowledge of this is the way that this world works. This is how witchcraft works in the MCU. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Interesting.
And at the end there, he did move the planchette to goodbye. So he did close off.
That's when it opened
Yeah,
up.
I think they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
But
Well, especially since they
nice
let go of the planchette.
It's nice that mistakes they've made in the past are coming back to kind of haunt them. It wasn't just all of a sudden the Salem 7 was in the Witch's Road somehow. Oh, shoot, we really should have closed that circle because now they got in.
Now, did you just say that on purpose? Comes back to haunt them?
Yes, I did. Because this was a spooky episode.
Yeah.
And did you notice something else that I noticed outside of one line? Rio was defending Agatha.
Oh, yeah. I did
Yes,
notice
she
that.
was.
They kind of brought it up.
Why?
They're like, you threatened to cut her throat a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, even early on in the episode, was like, hey, back off. And I was like, okay, is she doing that? Because, like we saw this episode, kind of like Dave's theory, another witch died. And I noticed she didn't come out of the house with everybody else. So is she harvesting that body?
I was gonna say she was collecting the body. Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that.
Because I didn't notice the first time I watched it, but then I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, because we're jumping to the end, everybody. Shocker. But, he was controlling the two witches, dumped Agatha off the road, then he threw them off the road, and then he was standing there, and I was like, holy cow, they're confirmed with the blue magic and his little headband. That's definitely Wiccan. But then I was thinking about it, I'm like, we never saw Rio. And it's just kind of convenient. She kind of came out after where that dead body was. Then we have another dead body, and she's kind of staying behind because she's probably doing what she needs to do, her job. And I'm like, if she's not Lady Death, I hope they have a good explanation for why they're doing things this way. Or
have you noticed that the all of the little hints and nods to her probably being Lady Death, it feels a lot like the Mephisto hints.
It does.
Because even during this episode, somebody had mentioned the word death, and she let out a little chuckle when they were in the cabin. And like, we might die, or something like, and she goes, like, it was comedic to her that anybody else would. Right. That's right. It was on the Ouija board. Yes.
Well, remember when they first walked out, Layla, the divination witch, was like, death comes for us all. And I thought that was kind of odd timing, right as she's walking out, and there was a dead body in there. I'm like, okay, please don't be another Mephisto thing. Like, it's okay if Aubrey Plaza's not playing Lady Death. But man, if you keep teasing all of these cosmic entities that we all want to see and have some role in all this, and then they never pan out, it's just gonna make us angry.
The last episode is gonna end with all the hints are like, Oh yeah, my favorite tarot card is the death card. That's it. That's what all the hints were about.
Yeah,
It's just that's my favorite tarot card.
it
Doesn't mean
is
anything.
the same. It is the same showrunner though, so she could be playing with fire again.
But did she learn her lesson? That's what we're going to find out because you're right. I read an
Does she
interview.
care?
Well, I think she does because I read an interview
Okay.
and she was talking about. She goes, I didn't think people would be so like behind all of those hints in it. Like she thought
What
they were
did you
funny.
expect?
I don't think she was prepared for what comic fandom does.
Oh,
with those
Lord.
things. And she was like, I just thought they were funny little hints. He obviously has a history with, Scarlet Witch and all of that. And she's like, I thought it was just funny, little Easter eggs that people, if they picked up on it, good, if not. But it turned into something that I did not expect. So we'll see if she learned her
Got to
lesson.
learn her audience.
Yeah.
She
If
has to learn the audience.
she does the same thing with this one, it's going to be like, okay, but she does a good job writing. I mean, much like WandaVision, I care about some of the stuff going on. Like, I find myself thinking about it when I don't feel like I'm forced to have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good thing. This isn't, the Penguin. We've talked about that quite a bit. This is a good show. And I think this episode was a little better, but I still, like, the stuff going on, I still care about. Like, I'm like, okay, is it going to be Wiccan or is it going to be Nicholas Scratch? Turned out to be Wiccan. Good. What's going on with Rio? What really happened? Because I had a question. Something that popped up when I was watching it the first time. Because
Okay.
obviously her mother was part of this trial
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And she said, she killed that first coven. Why would you join her? And I'm thinking she had to have a coven to go on the witch's road. She didn't go on the witch's road with her mom in that coven. So did she ever do the road before? Or is that just some thing that maybe is like people, oh my God, I heard Agatha completed the witch's road and she's not going to deny it because it makes her seem more powerful. It seems like hints are adding up that she never traveled this before.
I was thinking that too, especially when you think back to the first trial. Because if anybody had traveled the Witch's Road before, they would know that you have to actually complete the trial. You have to take part in the trial, otherwise you don't get to move on. So the fact that she thought she could kind of like cheat her way out of it and not drink the poison wine with everybody else, that seemed a little weird to me. It's like she on one hand she knows certain things. If you go back to like the second episode when they all got when they were singing the song and the door appeared, she seemed surprised, as if she didn't realize that's how it worked. Like, oh, I didn't know that, a door would literally just appear under her feet. Then when they go on the witch's road, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, maybe she does know what she's doing because she takes her shoes off. And it's like, oh, she must know that you're supposed to do that. But yeah, you're right, Keith. She kind of goes back and forth as far as like what she actually knows. And it makes you wonder, did she actually take the trials before? Has she been on the road before?
Because
Or maybe
it does.
it's just different every time, depending on who goes with you.
Well, and it
Oh.
does
But
seem that way because she did say it, it's different for every coven, and each test is personalized towards one of the witches. So
Okay.
that part rings true, but she
But
does.
the other part, the other part, I think you were about to say, I'm sorry, I got excited and I had to cut you off, is that the part that doesn't matter who's there, she's got to know that she has to complete whatever the trial is. Like you said, she had to know that she can't pour out the wine. That's not going to work. That's the one thing that's not specialized any of the coven. You have to do it. And
Yeah.
she should have known that. She should have known better.
Yes.
She wouldn't have tried to crack the window in that first house to try to escape.
Right, that too. But now I've got a question. At the end of the first challenge, when quote unquote Miss Hart died, they decided they had to summon somebody, turned out to be Rio, to replace her. Does that mean they're going to have to do that again?
I don't think so because they already did her trial. Because last week's was her trial with the curse on her family and all of that. So since they already completed her trial, I don't think so. but I don't know either, because we
Well,
know
I was
that
I was wondering, are they going to try and summon somebody else, or if they, play the get along song and they decide they're going to be a coven again, regardless of what just happened, are they just going to promote Teen?
yeah, Wiccan. They
We'll
could,
see.
yeah.
Well, right now they're all in quicksand, so we don't know even if they're going to get back on the road.
Fair.
Because we still have a few episodes left, I'm assuming they're going to get back on the road.
The rest of the episodes is just going to be a blank screen. It's just
It's
going to
gonna
show
be-
the witch's road, nothing
It's
on
going to be
it.
bubbling quicksand for like
Right, yeah. So
That's it.
for 36 minutes, okay, is something going to happen? I think I saw it bubble.
Did you watch the whole thing? No. Tell me the truth. I did.
Did you watch
And
the
what did you think of the end credit scene? Oh, I didn't watch that. Go back. Hey.
More
Those
bubbles.
Yeah, more quicksand.
More quicksand, but you hear just like a faint song in the background.
The witch's
Do
road.
this all day.
No. Oh, Doug, it thinks you raised your hand.
Oh, whoops. I was wondering. I'm like, why did you switch spots?
That is crazy.
One other thing I noticed in this episode, Teen/Wiccan is always the one who finds the clue. He found the note in the house, he found the record, and then he found the Ouija board. Which I don't know why this made me laugh, and I don't know if it's true. But when she's like, what does it say on the back? He's like, oh, for
Yeah,
ages
the
3
3
and
and
up.
Yeah,
I laughed
I thought that was
too.
funny.
It was funny.
No, but maybe he's the one creating the trials. Since he was in such control of them that he could move them with just a flick of his hand.
He
Perhaps.
seemed a lot more powerful than I would have thought. So I think that could have, something. He seems to know more than he's letting on. Rio
Yeah.
seems to know a lot, but she tells everybody it.
Mhm.
Where he's always the one, oh, hey, oh, look, a clue. Oh, I found this record. I think we should play it. Oh, the Ouija board. Well, how did I find that?
Right.
Now, at what point did Agatha realize he was Wiccan?
I think after she got her power back.
When she sucked it out of the other what's her name?
Yeah, the
What was her
protection
name?
witch. I can't remember her name now.
Lily?
No,
No, that's
Lillian is the deviate.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So when she got the power back, then she knew it was him, because she was acting like all innocent until that moment. Then she just realized, stood up straight. She was like, "You're much what? You're much different than your mother, or
No,
something
no,
like that.
you so much like your mother.
You're so much like your mother." And I was like, that was a quick change. What happened? I want to know what happened. Did I miss a clue? Did I miss? And honestly, did I miss it?
I don't think you did, because all I noticed that
actually...
it's.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say she got her power back when she went outside, and she's like, "Oh, hey, the power's here." When he walked out, because she was like, one other thing I thought that she figured out, and I don't know if we'll find out in the next weeks, the car crash from episode 1 that she was talking about that she thought was somehow a part of this. I think he was a part of that car crash. Someone died in that car crash. He might have been the cause of it, because she was like, he's like, we don't, oh, is that what witches do? We just kill people for more power? And she goes, are you sure it's not you? And that's when he got really mad. Like, she hit a nerve. Like, she figured out who he was and kind of what happened. Like, she put some of those dots together from when she was, a detective. And I think it might have something to do with the car crash. At least that's what the sense I got when I watched it, because something clicked. Kathryn Hahn, I thought her acting was great, because she went from kind of thing to all of a sudden like, oh, you sure about that? And then you remind me of your mother, and then he had like
the Scarlet Witch tiara.
I was like, okay, the blue mad, boom, count that. And it was funny because right after I got done watching it, someone commented on one of our videos. Like, it was one of our shorts at, who is the teen in Agatha? And we talked about it's probably Wiccan. And they were like, ding, ding, ding.
So I actually, Dave, I've got a theory about Agatha. And I've been thinking about this. I've been going back and forth when I'm watching how she's acting, when she explains, when she explained in, I think it was like episode 2, yeah, when she was gathering her coven. And all of the witches that she was trying to gather together, they seem to know who she is. Like, yeah, nobody is crazy enough to join Agatha Harkness. We know what you've done. We know what you did to other witches. And Agatha, at one point, she leans over, and I think it was to the divination witch. She goes, um, "Little fun fact about my powers: I can't steal somebody else's power unless you blast me first." She says, "So make sure you hold back." So I have a theory about the way, Agatha works, the way I guess her mental state is. And it kind of has to do with, I think, the overall theme of this show. So we know from WandaVision, after watching it, we know that essentially the overall theme of the show was grief. It was all about Wanda dealing with all of her grief. Her brother died in front of her, and she didn't really get over it until she started, being with Vision. And then Vision died, and then everybody got dusted. It was like one traumatic thing after another. And then all of a sudden, she comes back. They win the war against Thanos, and she goes to try to retrieve Vision's body and finds it in pieces all over the floor with Sword claiming that it's their property. So the entire thing was all about how she was dealing with her grief, poorly, by the way.
You'll
And
never
now
know
I
what
think-
they'll never know what she gave up, Doug.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thank you, Photon, for making that clear.
And who was it in our last stream that said that the town probably views Agatha as a hero? It was one of you two, I thought.
I think it was Dave.
No. As a hero?
Yeah, because she fought against
Oh,
Wanda.
Agatha as a
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah, Agatha. Yo, definitely not
Yes, yes.
Wanda.
Yeah, no. No, because if you remember, when she goes running out of her house naked, Herb, explains to her that, oh yeah, people are just trying to help you out, went and brought you groceries and everything. And it's like, because yeah, I think you're right, Dave. They do view her as a hero in Westview, but on the other side of the coin, I think the overall theme of this show is about addiction. And I think that is what Agatha is constantly dealing with. I think it's her addiction to power. So the what we think right now is that she might not have actually traveled down the witch's road. Maybe the Darkhold was how she actually got her power. Maybe it wasn't going down the witch's road. So it's always this lust for power, more and more power. And the way that she acted in this episode especially, where she was like, Dave, you pointed it out, where she, was all, oh my gosh, oh no, I'm so sorry. And then all of a sudden she stands up straight. It seems to me like she truly doesn't have complete control over her power sapping ability. She does know how to turn it on and off. But once she turns it on, that addiction clicks, it takes over, and she is going to just suck somebody dry until she has all their power and kills them. And it's not until after it's done where she looks down and she realizes, oh my God, I've done it again. I've killed somebody. And you can tell that, she looks truly sorry. Like she's, oh my God, I cannot believe I did this again. I really screwed up,
Yeah.
But
she looked the
she
same
won't
way when
stop
she did it the
herself.
first time.
Well,
To me, it reminds me, and this is going to sound a bit crude. Hopefully, like the YouTube censors are okay with this, but it reminds me of like an alcoholic, but somebody who has been in a drunk driving accident, but they don't stop drinking.
and if you notice, they showed us the scene from WandaVision when she stole the power from, her coven back in, Salem.
Yes.
And she was pulling it all in and then sent out power to take them all down. She didn't do that here. Like, I almost think Doug's right. Like, it started, the protection witch, I can't remember her name, was like blasting her to get the ghost out of her, her mother's ghost out of her. And as soon as it started sapping her powers, she was like, oh, there it is. that feels so good. And then she was like, oh my God, when, the Ouija board
Alice.
was going off. Yes, thank you. Was going off. And he was like, Nicholas Scratch. And then she kind of snapped out of it. Like, it did seem like she was under the effects of some drug. And I think you hit a key point on it. I think a lot of that came from the Darkhold. Like, the Darkhold, you just don't possess it and get a bunch of power. It kind of takes you over a little bit. And I think it's almost, withdraw from not having that.
She's
And-
constantly trying to chase that dragon.
Yep. So I think that theory is absolutely spot on, sir.
Absolutely spot on.
You know it.
There's also an absolutely in the chat.
Oh, someone paid for one?
No, they just dropped one.
I know. For
And I
Sierra,
drank anyway.
We'll take the sip.
Yeah, since she's been on the show.
She's definitely a friend of the show, contributor. And hopefully she'll be coming back when we, do more.
Yeah, at the end of
Anime?
the month when we're doing some more anime.
Yeah. Now,
So we got some chats in YouTube.
We do.
oh, we do. You're right. Kevin Davis, Agatha All Along, episode 5, grade B minus. I do think Elizabeth Olsen might make an appearance in post-credit scene in Agatha's season finale. I do think they're hinting that Wanda's still alive with how Wiccan kind of came into power there. I don't think she'll be in the show, but I think she could be in a post-credit scene setting up, if we believe some of these, scoopers, that Wanda's getting her solo movie or something down the line. I think we will see that. Do you think Disney Plus will ever break through at Primetime Emmy Awards in major categories?
Ever?
They might.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in the near future, I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Not
can't
yet.
see anything that they've come out lately that really blew me away. Nothing like Penguin, which better win some stuff. I guess Skeleton Crew, if it comes out, and it's phenomenal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But hopefully, we're Marvel and Star Wars fans, so we hope they put out, great Marvel and Star Wars content that can win them.
Did
some
Andor
things.
win anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did Andor win something?
I don't think it did.
It's a shame.
Like any of the big
Did it win
categories,
for
it
best
won.
score or something?
We'd have to look. I don't know for sure. It should have won a lot more than it did because that show was phenomenal. I wanted to talk about, it's funny that he was like, that's not who I am, killing other witches to gain power. But it certainly looked like he tried to kill 3 witches right after he said that.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
he
he's definitely
killing them or
punishing
was he trying to save them?
By throwing
Save
them
them.
off the road when they say you can't leave the road because you'll die? How is he? I don't, how, explain.
I took it as he was trying to get them away from Agatha. Maybe I
But he-
misinterpreted.
He threw her. They threw her in the quicksand
that's-
first, and then he
that's
whipped
right.
them.
And then
in.
he threw them in there. And
Okay.
then he's the only
Alright.
one not in the quicksand.
And maybe next week's episode, he's gonna battle Rio a little bit.
I had a feeling in this moment he turned. Hey, what's next? He turns around in this moment, and Rio's there, and she says, "What are you doing?" And some kind of hijinks ensues.
I think she'll be more like, "Oh, finally tapping into that power, are you?" Like she at times feigns ignorance, but there's times when she knows exactly what's going on and lets people know. And I think she's going to see. I wouldn't be surprised if she knew all along that Teen was, Billy Kaplan. Yeah,
I think she's a sit back and watch the chaos kind of person.
Rio?
Not person, being. Yes.
Yeah, I
She's
agree.
gonna see what happens and enjoy it. Like she was the only one enjoying riding on those broomsticks. She was loving it.
Oh my gosh, that cackle that she let out, that Wicked Witch of the West cackle,
Perfect.
that was perfect. That was that alone already that raised it a point, and I was like, all right, cool, you've won me over. Speaking of, that was kind of weird, the whole like broomstick thing. Like, yeah, we're just gonna pull giant branches and they're brooms now.
Well, they did.
Go.
Well,
You
they
can
had,
just-
they had to
Well,
recite
that's how it
the
works.
spell to get them to work, and they
Mhm.
only all of them could fly. Not one of them could fly. They all had to fly.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a spell. And so you just grab anything, grab a leg off a table.
Kind of reminds me of that movie Hocus Pocus, where they were flying on like one of them was on a vacuum, one was on I think a mop, and I don't remember what the other one was.
I knew you were a Bette Midler fan.
Hey, that was that was actually when I was a kid. That was a good movie. I haven't rewatched it in a long time though. I don't know if it still holds up.
My daughter used to have that on nonstop during the Halloween season, and Hocus Pocus 2 came out, and both my wife and daughter liked it. I have not
I
seen
did
it,
not see that.
but
I
I
wonder
do.
if it's worth checking out.
I do think we're going to see. I don't want to call it a confrontation, but Rio and Wiccan together at the beginning of next episode, unless it's an entire flashback episode or something. We won't find out till, episode 6 or episode 7, because we only got like 3 weeks.
I am curious what she thinks of him because during this entire travel down the road, Rio has not seemed all that interested in what the team is doing, and she's just the only mention she really made of him was to Agatha when she said he's not your son. But other than that, she seems to kind of ignore him. So I wonder if now that he's thrown the other witches off the road into the quicksand, if you will, I wonder if now this is gonna. Oh, all right. Well, now he's got my interest.
Especially if she gets to. Not that I think all 3 are dead, but if she gets to collect the bodies.
They're all dead, including Agatha. They're all dead
Yep.
now.
It's
The
going
main
to-
star of the show.
They're changing the title to Wiccan This Week.
Wiccan all along. Wiccan this week.
Wiccan since
man.
last week,
Yes,
not all along.
finally Wiccan.
Finally, Wiccan. Wiccan, she wrote. Honestly, that would be like right up their alley as far as like the false intros and everything. I could see them pulling a stunt like that next week.
I would not
What, a
be
flashback?
surprised. Yeah, no, not a flashback, but like a Wiccan
Creating like
title
a
card.
fake intro and calling it a different name, calling it like the Wiccan Chronicles or something.
The Wiccan Chronicles. I liked it.
Here from another dimension.
But
Tome of the Teen.
I can't imagine that Agatha is gone because I started thinking too. Are they going to stop doing trials now, or
I don't know.
is Wiccan and Rio going to continue, and then somehow the road is going to catch up the rest of the coven to them? It'll be interesting to see how they handle 3 witches off the road in the
And-
quicksand.
Is Alice absolutely for sure dead? I mean, I know we saw her, as a shriveled up raisin, but magic? I don't know.
No,
I mean, it seemed like he stopped her in time because there was no burst back out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She was still absorbing, and that's why I thought she was just going to regain her water weight, and I thought she was going to rehydrate and stand up.
I thought she was
So-
going to be extremely weakened, but alive.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like, I don't know, it seemed like kind of a waste to have her finally shake her curse just to, be killed off in the next episode.
But it shows the stakes of the Witches Road too.
Fair.
I would prefer to have characters die than
Mhm.
everyone survive, because then it's like, oh, who doesn't want to go down the Witches Road? We can all get
Right.
whatever it is we need because no one dies. So
It really surprised me. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, I guess I figured there might be, more injuries. They might have to fight against the Salem 7. I guess I wasn't actually expecting any more deaths out of anyone, though.
Yeah, I think there's still one's gonna die every week. I know there's no way that the 3 are dead right now. Well, I
Mhm.
guarantee one of them dies next week.
Okay.
I believe that too. I do think probably by the end of the show, the only three that'll make it out is Agatha, Wiccan, and Rio.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
And
And then once Agatha's all powered back up, then she'll have her showdown with Rio, and then Wiccan will kind of like sneak off and go join the Young Avengers.
well, I do think she'll be repowered, and she's gonna want one thing: the Darkhold back.
Mm,
And that's how we're going to find out that Wanda's not really dead and didn't destroy the Darkhold in every universe. You know, she's going to be like, I know what I need to do. And maybe she even gets Wiccan to go with her. Like, we can save your mom. I know where
No.
she's at, but
Take
I
everything at face value in the MCU. There's no more Darkhold.
I wonder though, if she is actively seeking the Darkhold, now that Doctor Strange is more aware of what it can do and, you know, the darkness that it brings. I wonder if it's going to be more on his radar, or at least at the very least, more on the rest of, uh,
Kamatage.
Wizards. Comertage, thank you. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be more on their radar, where they're going to be keeping a lookout for it, and if somebody is attempting to seek the Darkhold in whatever universe, I wonder if they're going to be alerted and be like, "Oh hell no, this isn't happening again."
I think that Wanda is strong enough to hide it from Doctor Strange
Hmm.
and the rest. And that's why they all think she's dead and she destroyed it. Plus, if you remember at the end of Multiverse of Madness, he's going off with Clea to stop an incursion. So if things do pop up, he may be busy with other things.
Okay. Alternate theory, and this is totally right, absolutely correct, absolutely
Oh,
correct.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seal it with a drink. Madison is the Darkhold in human form.
Yes. That is 100% accurate. Because, like the show, it was
Oh, my God.
spooky, and then I kind of liked it, and then it was spooky again in a fun way.
And the Darkhold is not where you think.
And Kevin Davis
No,
asks,
too wise, but
do you think Joker Fale Adu bombing at the box office will help or hurt James Gunn's Superman? I don't think it's going to have any
I don't think it's
effect
gonna have any.
whatsoever.
No, because
yeah,
that started filming before James Gunn was really in
plus
charge
it's
of
not
things.
part of his universe. It's not part of the DCEU
And I
or
think
DCU.
for the most part, people are going to see James Gunn's Superman because, his Guardians movies were good. People liked Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad. I did say the Suicide Squad. A lot of
Yeah.
things he's done. He's got a good following. So I think people will come out in droves. And if it's really good,
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
have legs and it'll make a lot of money. If it's not so good, it may have a huge first weekend and kind of taper off. But, I think they've been making good decisions on some of their casting and some of their ideas. So I think Superman is going to do very well at the box office.
And not to like defend or defame anyone, but if James Gunn saw a cut of Joker 2 and decided to let it go to theaters anyway, kudos to him. Because I would rather these people put the movies in theaters and let us judge whether they're good or bad than simply shelve it and then us never know. I'm still mad over Batgirl.
I know. I was going to say release Batgirl.
Yeah.
That
I
movie
mean,
cost a crap ton less to make and would have made more
Mhm.
than Joker Fale Adu.
Oh, probably would have done a hell of a lot better.
And it only had 5 less songs.
And did they have anything to do with the plot, though?
Yeah,
no.
no. That's why they couldn't release it. They were like, Batgirl's going to
Didn't pay
steal
for the
Joker
licenses.
2's thunder by having songs that don't enhance or relate to the story in any way.
I guarantee she was a better singer than Joaquin Phoenix, though. I guarantee.
I was shocked they let him sing because when they said he was singing, I'm like, oh, maybe he can sing well. Then I heard him and I'm like,
What you
But
think
have
this
you
fucker would
gentlemen
do?
seen? Have you gentlemen seen Paint Your Wagon?
no, but I've seen Cop Rock.
Speaking of people who shouldn't be allowed to sing.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
All right.
Uh,
Well,
Have
Clinton.
you seen the Justice League? When the sirens come out of the water?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah, because we had to for the channel.
Yeah. Well, that's better than Joaquin Phoenix saying, okay?
actually, yeah, I would say the siren singing in Justice League, the Snyder
Yeah.
cut, was better than all of the songs in Joker. Fallait adieu.
Are you gentlemen saying we should have a watch party? You do you want do you want to watch Snyder Cut Justice League and then follow that up with Rebel Moon, the
The-
Snyder Cut?
I think we should. Do we have
And
14 hours? Free?
yeah, we're not going to stop in between movies. We're just going to keep it rolling. So,
And with the cut, we could put it in the corner of our screen here, and it'd fit, because of the
Right.
aspect ratio that they filmed it in.
I was just thinking we should probably get like an old TV to watch it on, an old CRT.
more artistic that way.
In between watchings, we can play some Nintendo.
Yay! I love Nintendo.
I won't feel like such a hippie then.
Well, any
Ready
more
to talk.
any more theories
Yeah.
about what's next, gentlemen? I do think
That's my theory, that he's going to turn around in that moment, and Rio's going to be behind him. I don't know if she's going to say like, "What are you doing?" But she's been in the know on everything,
Mhm.
So she's going to know what's happening. And right, she might come up and just say, "Oh, you're finally doing this," But either way, it's going to be that's the next scene. I think is going to be a confrontation between those.
and remember, one thing, I'm glad I remembered this. When they were talking about the sigil that was placed on Teen, she said it's just there until it's no longer needed. And I think that final scene with Agatha proved that sigil is gone. So I wonder if she's going to walk out and be like, "Oh, I guess it was time for that sigil to go away." Call Billy or
Okay.
something.
I can picture Aubrey Plaza saying what you just said, and it's a lot better. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Better
Aubrey
than
Plaza.
me? No
Yeah.
offense taken, dude. She's going to say it a lot better than me.
Look, I'll add on to that. Aubrey Plaza saying it in her like monotone, I don't give a crap voice, off in the distance, not even looking at anyone, just kind of like fiddling with a twig in her hand. I guess we don't need that sigil anymore.
Or she
In the-
could
in the-
walk up and say, it is March 31st. You've got 93 meetings today.
Oh man, she really is making this show.
I didn't know March 31st was a real date.
Right. Well, how many meetings do I have?
Oh.
93.
Mm.
Anyway, Kevin's saying something in the chat.
Oh, let's take a look. Okay, what film in November do you think is going to make the most at the box office? Moana 2, Gladiator 2, or Wicked?
Oh, the most of the box office. Moana.
Wicked.
You think?
I
Because
know a
I'm
lot
seeing
of-
a lot of people already saying that they don't think it's going to work. Like I know that Ariana Grande is in it. I know that it's based off of a very famous musical, but I don't know if that's going to be enough because a lot of like the initial reviews for it are like this shouldn't have been a movie.
More better as a play. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fans will come out in droves to support it. It'll be one of those ones that catch fire. Moana 2, I think will do decent. Gladiator 2, it's got Pedro
Yeah, I'm not sure
Pascal.
about
It's
that.
got
I think it'll be a fun watch, but I think it's going to go unnoticed.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's my unfortunate opinion. Is I know that the people who are in the know, that are like huge Gladiator fans, Pedro Pascal fans are gonna be like, oh man, yeah, I've been waiting for this movie. But they're probably gonna go to a surprisingly empty theater and be like, well, that's weird. I'm surprised there aren't more people here.
Yeah. I think that movie's going to be a disappointment.
Mhm.
Maybe not even in its plot. I don't know. I don't know what the plot is. I don't know where they could go from where they were, but I think it won't do as well as they think it will. I think Moana 2 would probably be the biggest one out of those, in my opinion.
I figure most Disney movies in general usually always do real good. Oh boy, I can't talk. Always do real good at the box office,
Mhm.
especially because parents are always looking, for something good to take the kids to that they can enjoy as well. And Disney is, for the most part, they're usually good at making movies family friendly enough that, kids will enjoy them, they'll get a kick out of them, they'll sing along, but then the parents will also find a joke or two. They're like, the kids don't get this. This is good.
Oh yeah. And then Kevin also asks, Venom: The Last Dance and Craven the Hunter will be moderate success for Sony Pictures.
Venom, maybe. Craven, no.
Yeah, Craven is going to bomb. But I
Yeah.
think Venom: The Last Dance may do really well.
Yeah.
Only because, well, two things.
It's
The other
the last
movies
one.
did well,
Mhm.
but hinting that Noel is going to be transferring over to the MCU and be a main villain in Spider-Man 4. If that comes true and there's some post-credit scene linking Venom: The Last Dance to the MCU in the next Spider-Man movie, I think people will go see it just to see that, even if the movie isn't good. So I got a feeling that Venom: The Last Dance is going to do quite well, only because if it does link up. But Craven, I think, is gonna. I mean, the trailers haven't done much for Craven,
Yeah.
and I don't know anyone who's like, I can't wait to see that Craven movie. I've heard
The
nobody say
Craven
that.
trailer, the Craven trailer was so bad that Sony blocked our review of it because they were like, "Yeah, no, it's too embarrassing. We don't want people to see this trailer." I'm assuming that's probably what happened. That's the real reason why.
Right.
It
Yeah.
wasn't because they're, pedantic, nitpicky little clowns.
Yes, but Sony, we just want to let you know, we will be more than happy to be paid shrills for your movies.
Yeah.
You want us to
Just about
say
everyone.
that Venom: The Last Dance was probably the greatest film of all time? We'll do it for the right price. I mean, Dave already loved Morbius more than anybody else. We thought he was on the bankroll already.
And everybody knows that Madam Web was cinematic genius.
Yeah, show me Steel Box, man. I mean, we put our money where our mouth is. Look at Doug here.
Right here. This butte, never gonna open it because it is a treasure. It is a treasure, and I'm gonna put this in a what do you call it? A time capsule for future generations, just to really appreciate this.
Well, and Keith, you mentioned like Null, right? And like his partner Void. All right, just forget it, forget it. All right, I've done that joke twice now. Forget it. The thing is, if he comes in like in a post credit scene and it's foreshadowing, why couldn't it be, say, two Spider-Man pictures down the road like they used to do? They used to foreshadow a couple movies in advance. Maybe we still get the street level Spider-Man and Spider-Man 4, which that we all want, and not some cosmic BS right out the gate. You know what I mean?
Yep, I want Daredevil Born Again to lead right into Spider-Man 4. And it sounds like that was a plan at one point, but it sounds like plans are changing, mostly because Sony wants to make a big multiversal King in Black type Noel movie where Marvel wanted to make the street level. And the rumor is that Marvel reached out to Sony to see if Spider-Man could be in Daredevil Born Again, and they said nope. Avengers level movies only.
They don't know what they're doing. I
They don't.
swear
They
they
really
do
don't.
not know what they're doing.
Do they know how much momentum that would add
Oh
if
my
they
God,
did?
people want to see a friendly neighborhood street level Spider-Man. I don't know how they don't get that. Do they
They
think every Spider-Man movie now needs to be a giant multiversal spectacle?
they do
Yeah,
because No
they
Way
do.
Home made so much money.
Whatever.
No, I know. I'm not happy with that
They're
decision
just
either.
they're ruining it for themselves. And I wish the the all the internet lawyers, sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I wish all the internet lawyers were actually right and say, well, if they ruin it enough, then Marvel gets it back. No, no, my friends, that is not how it works. Sony can run Spider-Man down the drain. They can stomp on it. They're still going to own the rights to it. They're going to
Yeah.
own the rights to Spider-Man and all of his villains. They're going to keep making crappy movies, except for Spider-Verse, which actually, I don't know. I heard that they're meddling with the production team on that, so
They
we'll see
are.
how that turns out. But
It's like they have to release a certain, a movie within a certain number
yes,
of
and
years,
if
and
they
they're not
don't,
letting that even go by one bit. They're
yeah,
letting it go every 3 months.
if they don't put out a movie, then yes, they'll lose the license. But they're not about to
Yeah.
chance that. It's
I
the
don't even
same
think
thing
they
with
have
a
to
lot of
put
the
out a
other
movie. I think a movie has to be in production within a
oh,
certain point.
yes, you know what? You're right, because the same thing happened with Fantastic Four. There was that one that they had produced in, I want to say, the 90s, and then it never
Yep.
came out.
Yep. All they had to do was put it in
Did you know
production.
that's Did you know that's why they made Smallville?
No,
No,
Because they were going to lose the rights to Superman back to what the Kirby family, I think, and so they
oh,
made Smallville TV show.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Well, you know what we say.
That's right. I had to bring it up. I had to.
Yes, and we are glad you did. Well, should we rate this episode of Agatha? Give
I
us
think
a
we
tangent
should.
time.
Sure. Well, I am not as wild with this episode as you guys. It's a little bit better. And to me, the only thing that really brought it up, yeah, it was the cackle. That was a great cackle. A little more Aubrey Plaza never hurts anything. Um, and the main thing was at the end to me when Agatha's total attitude changed back into the person that she was when she was discovered on WandaVision. When she became that moment, I was like, all right, now there's a shift. That's cool. That's a big thing. And then Wiccan comes out. That was it. Everything else in that show to me was still the same level. They just went to a different era. And they were all dressed in the different clothes again and doing a thing. And so it was like the same thing, just with one little, well, semi extra medium thing at the end. And for that reason, I'm gonna instead of giving it a straight 5, like I think I've given every other episode, I'm gonna give this 5 point.
Okay. So I enjoyed it. I liked this episode enough I wanted to watch it again. And that is the first time that I've done that with these episodes. The rest of them have been pretty meh. I haven't really been all that, excited by a lot of them. Like, they're fine. They're okay. They're not terrible by any means, but I hesitate to call the other episodes good. Like I can't quite say that they are because they felt kind of just blah. I mean, there are a couple of things that were okay in them that I do like, and I'll do callbacks like, but the little smatterings of what has been good so far, to me, it hasn't been enough to raise them up beyond a 5. But this episode, I felt it was, yeah, Dave, you are right. It was a lot of the same formula, but to me, they tweaked it just enough to the point where I was more interested. So, like I said, I like when they drop little bits of lore about how witchcraft works in the MCU. So I was interested in that. I liked the idea that we're now learning, oh, okay, we now know a little bit about like this whole blood moon thing. We know about how they can make brooms out of branches and the the Rio cackle from Aubrey Plaza just that put me in a great vibe for like the rest of the episode. They had to have done that on purpose. They knew what they were doing because I was into it. I heard that and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna love this episode. And then when they go in and they're he finds a Ouija board and again they got me with that joke at the end. Like, what does the back say? Ages 3 and up. I laughed. I was laughing. I'm like, okay, that was pretty freaking funny. Good for you. And then, of course, when they said, they're talking about death on the Ouija board, and again, Aubrey Plaza, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing, show. All right, she'd better be Lady Death. I swear to God, do not mess with me. And then when we got to see Agatha's mom, and that's when, like I said, things started kind of turning in my head, and the gears are spinning, and I'm watching what Agatha is doing, and you could tell that it was like almost like she was possessed. And I'm not talking about when she was actually possessed and walking on, crab walking on the floor. I'm talking about when she was absorbing what's her name's powers, Alice's powers. It looked like she purposely did it. She twisted herself, she turned her hands, and she, started absorbing it. But it was almost like she couldn't help herself. And that's how I was like, this isn't like a spell that's controlling her. This is her own, thirst for power. That's what this is. And she just truly cannot help herself. Somebody starts blasting her, and a trigger goes off in her head, and she thinks, I need to absorb their power, run them dry, turn them into a raisin. Because then, as soon as she's done, you just see this look over her face like, oh my God, what did I do? But she's not going to do anything to give it back, obviously that's her power now. And now she's thinking in her brain, I'm really sorry for what I did, but who can I do next? Who can I, absorb next? And so that's what kind of really did it for me for this episode, because to me, it finally became clear the themes that they're going for in this show. I'll also kind of tack on that an additional theme could be, as far as addiction goes, addiction to toxic relationships. Clearly Agatha and Rio should not be together. They are so terrible for each other, but I still want to see that train wreck. So for that, this is going to sound weird. I'm going to give this a 7 because I actively enjoyed this episode. I liked it. Again, it did use pretty much the same formula as the other episodes, but like I said, I think they tweaked it just enough that it really kept me interested, and I watched it till the end, and then I wanted to watch it again today. I wanted to. So, yeah.
Doug, and that's what I think did that for me. They tweaked it enough. We got the Salem 7 getting into the Witch's Road at the beginning and chasing them, and they have to, use their brooms to get out. We still got the trial that we've seen in the other episodes, but then we also got that at the end when Wiccan's power finally came out. As soon as I saw the title, oh my God. Let me get my notes up. God darn it. The Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. I'm like, okay, we're going to start seeing some powers come back. And I think they did a really good job with how it was all handled. I think we're going to find out the sigil on Teen is now gone just because of how Agatha came up. We still got the Salem 7 and the Witch's Road coming after them. We still need to find out about Rio. We need to find out how they're going to survive being thrown off the Witch's Road. They did enough to make this a different type of episode and still being the same that I agree. I think it was the best episode we've seen of this series so far. I hope it continues to tick upward because it's been a straight line for me. I think the acting's been pretty good, and I think the writing has been fine, maybe. Just not terrible, not great, but it's been enjoyable to watch. But I'm the same with you. I was ready to watch this again right after I watched it. I was like, okay, that was good. And I hope it continues. And for that, I'm going to give it a 7 also. I think it definitely improved on the things it's been doing. And when we saw kind of Agatha turn back into the Agatha we knew from WandaVision, I was like, not only should this be good for the rest of this series, but hopefully it leads into something else post this where we could see, some... We don't want to see just powerless witches walking through the road. We want to see magic fights and combat and things we kind of saw at the end of WandaVision, but maybe a little better. And I'm hoping that's what we get. So I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping next week is a 7.5.
Additional theory for next week. They're going to sing an updated version of Agatha All Along, but instead of her ending it with saying, and I killed Sparky too, and I killed Alice too. Ah!
No, it should be and I killed Boner too.
Your name's Boner? Boner.
If only.
Now, we have
I wonder if he was one of the... I'm sorry, was he one of the people that moved out of the town?
Probably, yes. So we have a question. What do you guys think are the untitled MCU movies for Phase 6? Any guesses? I think it's going to be Doctor Strange 3. I think we'll probably get a new Thor movie. And if these scoopers are to be believed, we'll get a solo Scarlet Witch movie. And probably Spider-Man 4.
When are we getting an X-Men movie?
Not till Phase 7.
But Wolverine is supposed to be in Secret Wars, which is that Phase 6 or 7?
No, it's Phase 6.
So
We'll
there's another
see.
one.
We'll see X-Men characters in these movies, but we won't see an actual X-Men movie till Phase 7, is what I think. And I could be wrong. One of those could definitely be an X-Men movie, but it'd probably be multiversal, like the Beast from the post-credit scene in the Marvels, and maybe X-Men from there coming in or something. But we'll see. I miss seeing Star Wars on the big screen. Star Wars hasn't done bad come to TV shows. They just need better writing. I mean, The Mandalorian, first 2 seasons were great. Third season kind of wavered. Andor was fantastic. Ahsoka season 1 was really good, except for the final that kind of fell flat. The Acolyte was
I do
bad.
agree with that, though. I also miss seeing Star Wars in the theaters.
And The Mandalorian and Grogu is filming, so we will be getting a Star Wars film. Now, we have heard that the New Jedi Academy movie, or New Jedi Order, whatever it's called, has been delayed.
Ray.
It's put on hold, so we don't know when that is coming, but at least we're getting The Mandalorian and Grogu and hopefully some more sort of, Mandoverse movies. Hopefully
That'd be
Ahsoka
nice.
season 2 leads into something. Because I would rather see the big battle between Thrawn and the New Republic happen in a movie as opposed to Disney Plus. But
Oh yeah.
we
And
will
I was
see.
gonna say, like, I miss seeing Star Wars in the theater as well, but I wouldn't accept just anything. I wouldn't be just like, hey, give me that Rey movie, even if it sucks. Just because it's Star Wars on the screen. That's kind of what they did with the sequel trilogy, if you ask me. Just Star Wars, put it out there. It doesn't matter if it's a complete thought. Let's just go ahead and throw it out there.
That did hurt them at the end of the day, not having thought it out. But I go back and forth on that because a lot of people have said that while George Lucas had an overall idea in mind, he didn't have the plot of each film mapped out. Like he didn't decide until like the very, the last minute that Leia was even going to be Luke's sister. Like that wasn't even part of his original plan. He also hadn't decided until the second movie that Darth Vader was going to be Luke's father. Spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen a Star War.
But what he did though made sense.
Yes, it did make sense. I think also what helped is they had the same kind of creative minds all working together on that original trilogy, where we didn't have that with the sequel trilogy. We had JJ, then we had what's his name?
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson, and then we had JJ again, kind of after they had already had a different movie written, and then JJ came and was just like, "Nope, nope, nope, we got to do an apology tour," and it was like really weird and not. It was very disjointed, all in all. It felt like there was no communication, no overall. It felt like each of the movies in that new trilogy, they were a reply. They were a response to the movie that came before it.
Yeah, they can't do that again. They have to have a complete thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping with, Dave Filoni being the chief creative officer that won't happen again. And maybe that's what's going on with the Rey movie. Maybe the script wasn't up to snuff. And they're like, you know what? No, we're not.
And hey, you know what? If that's the case, if they were looking at the script and they decided this needs work, we're not going to, release this as is, then hey, good. More power to them. Fix what's wrong and put out some good quality movie.
That would be fantastic.
That's why he's a fantastic person to have in that position.
Oh yeah.
Every story he's told has taken its time and told the story it needed to tell.
And what is the name of the guy who does the voice for Darth Maul?
Sam Witwer?
Sam Witwer. They need him on that too, because there's been a couple of videos that I've watched where he like lore checked Dave Filoni. He was like, "Well, actually, didn't such and such happen?"
Oh yeah, he said.
You're right.
Meeting a Padme or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, I never met your mother. He said, She did.
Actually.
Yes,
So get him on that team too to like actually reread the script after the fact and be like, actually, Dave,
That would be fun. That would be. I think that would be good for the overall product. You can't.
Mhm.
You can't do too much script review. Well, you can. Don't get executives involved. Get creatives
Oh
involved.
God, no, no. I tell you what, send a copy of it to Sony, and everything that they suggest, do the opposite.
Let's see. Nivea, since a lot of the Scarlet Witch lore is being developed in Disney Plus shows, do you think a Scarlet Witch movie would really work? A lot of the general public might be lost. Well, they could build off what kind of happened in Multiverse of Madness. And, you can do a thing on TV, like with Disney Plus, and Doug has talked about this before. The last thing you saw with Captain America was Steve handing the shield to Sam. And they had a whole show on Disney Plus, but if you didn't watch it and you go to see Captain America Brave New World, you still have that piece to understand. So I can see them making a Scarlet Witch movie with a bunch of stuff that only people that watched WandaVision and Agatha All Along would probably get, but they could still make a good movie for people who didn't see those things. It would just be additional lore that we all know because we watched.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like just reading the next leg of the comic book that might not factor at all into the next team up.
Yep. Yeah, if you only read Avengers books and you're not reading the Captain America and Thor and Iron Man solos and all that, you still understand what's going on in the Avengers. But they might have hints that you understand because you read the other ones, but you're still fine if you didn't.
It just enhances the experience for you if you do watch them all.
Exactly. All right. Are you guys ready for something?
Oh, sure. What do you got for us?
We got some news.
We're talking DC Studios.
Ugh, gross.
So we got a little casting news
Okay.
for Lanterns.
Well, wait, hold on. Is this a rumor mill rundown?
This is not. This has been confirmed.
Oh,
Kyle Chandler
all right.
is set to play Hal Jordan in Lanterns. It has been rumored for a while. It is now official. And Aaron Pierre is playing Jon Stewart, who was in Rebel Ridge on Netflix. I've never seen, but he has been getting rave reviews. So it sounds like quality. So we got two casting little tidbits. So we have Hal Jordan, we have Jon Stewart, we have Guy Gardner in the DCU. And I wanted to switch back up this, get us back on there. So we got those two castings. And for those of you wondering about Lantern, it is going to be a show on HBO. And the synopsis for said show. The series follows new recruit Jon Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark, Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. I think that sounds pretty good.
That's the Lantern's premise?
That is the Lantern's premise. And,
Okay.
They're investigating a murder on Earth?
well, yeah, I mean, Earth is part of the galaxy. They still patrol
Okay.
Earth. But here's
It'll be
the
like
part that
Detective.
Okay.
here's the part that I'm happy with. So, it was created by Chris Mundy, who you might know from Ozark, True Detective, and Criminal Minds.
Oh,
Nice.
all right. So that explains.
It's a True Detective.
Yep.
I didn't know.
All right.
Damon Lindelof from Lost,
Oh.
Watchmen, and The Leftovers, and
Okay.
and Tom King, who did the Vision comic book series for Marvel. He did Mr. Miracle, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow for DC, just to name a few. So that creative team sounds pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I have went from like a hype level for Lanterns being somewhere around maybe a 4 or a 5 to it's starting to creep up to get near the 7s. It seems like the casting is good. I definitely think the creative team behind it is phenomenal, and I hope they live up to it because just some of the things they've done, like True Detective, that first season is one of the best seasons of anything on TV, I think. Ozark was wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Good show.
Yeah, Criminal Minds. I've seen a few episodes. It's good. It's not bad, but Damon Lindelof. Lost was I loved Lost until they really screwed up the ending, so I hope they don't do that here. Watchmen on HBO I thought was fabulous. And The
I liked
Leftovers
it.
was
I
really
thought that
good.
was a good series.
And Tom King has written a lot of comics that I've really enjoyed. So
Well, I have a question, and maybe it's been explained. I just haven't looked much into what the premise of the show. But is it safe to assume that this murder mystery is some sort of alien murder mystery?
James Gunn has said that this will be a kickoff for basically chapter 1 of the DCU. It is going to everything
Creature
is going
Command.
to build off of that.
Or
What about
wait, was it?
When
Huh.
Creature Commandos come out in December?
No, it's like Creature Commandos is going to be its thing. Superman is coming out, and then Lanterns. But Lanterns, he said, is going to be the thing that
Okay.
the mystery there is going to fuel the rest of chapter 1, basically something along.
Well, the
those
reason
lines.
why I ask is if this is just like a run of the mill, hey, some dude, got mugged in the streets of New York, like I feel like the lanterns are a bit too overpowered for just your average run of the mill murder. So I
That
wonder how that would go.
It
the
won't be an
person who
average
was
murder.
mugged, the person who was mugged was Evan Sir. So there you go.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
It
Is
was
if,
Vandal Savage, Dave.
if it
Oh,
was
sorry,
something
sorry.
like that, that would make more sense to get the lanterns involved,
Well, I'm sure it will
especially
be.
multiple.
I don't think they're going to announce things like that now. Like I think it'll start off as just seeming like a almost an ordinary murder, and it's going to build up into whoever the big bad might be of chapter 1, whether it's Vandal Savage. I don't think it'll be Darkseid just yet. I think they will definitely build towards that. But I think it's going to be the first hints on where this is all going as a collective. Like Creature Commandos is going to come out and do some things. Superman's going to, set the tone for Superman and introduce a ton of characters. And then we're going to start getting into where this is all going as a cinematic universe per se.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a formula that MCU used,
Yeah.
with Iron Man kind of established his story, and then they went for the, the
Hmm.
universe building, if you will, after that. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not like so who's the victim? Steve. Oh, you talking about like an intergalactic? No, no, no. Steve. He lives down the road. He's got a wife and 2 kids. Oh, so obviously he was, mugged by an alien. Therefore, we need to use our lantern powers. No, it was just a regular murder with a knife. Oh, I did anybody call the police? No, we're going to do all the investigating.
Sure.
Buddy, I was a Marine. Uh, I was a grunt. Like we didn't do that.
Isn't there a Batman around that can solve
Right?
crimes?
Yeah. Has anybody called Batman? I don't. Even the Flash. I hear the Flash would be good for. No, no. You want us to? Okay. All right, man.
Listen, I'm the grizzled veteran, John. I say we investigate this murder. All right,
I get-
cool.
Oh, by the way, take your ring off. You're not going to need it. I figured.
I hope that is not the case. But we also got one little other bit, a tidbit, if you will, from Mr. James Gunn.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to share a picture on the screen for you all to see.
Okay.
This was tweeted out and shared on Threads, and all he said was, "Who might this be?" Hashtag Peacemaker, hinting at season 2 of Peacemaker.
Who might that be?
Now, my first thought was Apache Chief.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
So things are starting to heat up. We haven't heard. I don't know when Peacemaker season 2 will come out before Lanterns because they've already started filming that.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
What
it'll
about
be-
Lobo?
Well, he looks Native American. I don't think that'll be Lobo.
Yeah, he
Lobo's.
does. You're right. There's that feather there.
Yeah.
It's kind of obvious.
I think Long Shadow was another Native American character in DC, but my first thought was Apache Chief because I always loved when he would show up on Super Friends and stuff. And then he showed up in Young Justice too, with a little different power set, you know. But it'll be cool. I'm happy we're getting these little teases now about stuff in the DCU because I'm so ready for it to kick off, and hopefully we won't have to hear about restore the Snyder Cut.
We are never going to stop about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but you know, one can hope.
You know what? Let him create his own characters. I don't care if they mimic the DC characters that do, like the boys, you know. But create your own characters, create your own universe. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah,
We did. It's called Rebel Moon.
Oh yeah.
No, that was his take on Star Wars.
Oh,
We need him to do his take on superheroes now, outside of the standard universe.
I'm sure it'd be much better.
Outside of that crappy take on Superman that he had. Oof.
God. Watch it, whatever he'll put out, people would be like, yeah, no, the boys already did that. It's much better. Invincible also did that. Also much better.
Kevin
What
Davis
did you
is
say, Doom
asking
Patrol?
the what?
Doom Patrol is much better than that as well.
Oh yeah, Doom Patrol is much better. This year, Emmy Awards proving HBO isn't the powerhouse it once was. Netflix and FX dominated wins. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, with all the streaming services and everything else, there's so many good shows out there. I mean, HBO has dominated for many years, but they still got great shows. I mean, House of the Dragon was really good. Penguin was really good. But then you got Amazon with, you know, The Boys and Invincible, and you have FX with The Bear, which took home tons of awards. So, I mean, there's a lot more studios now doing television, you know, for streaming services, where before it was...
Is it accurate to call them all studios?
No, but, you know, we'll be nice here tonight. We're feeling in a good mood. Even though the Tigers lost to the Guardians tonight, we're still in a good mood here.
Does that mean we're going
Found a
to
way to slip it in.
I told you I would. I waited till later in the episode. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, we're finally starting to get some tidbits for this. You know, I can't wait to... Creature Commandos is coming out in December. They are actually have a panel at New York Comic Con later this month, like 9 days, I believe. Maybe we'll get another trailer or something along those lines, because we did get a little teaser trailer before. It looked good. So hoping we get a little more, and then we'll have... it's only 7 episodes.
You know, though, what we always say is if that's all you need to tell a good, succinct story, then cool. If you need more, if they need to be longer, do that too. I have said that ever since we watched The Mandalorian, and we couldn't figure out why all the episode times constantly fluctuated. One would be like 48 minutes, another one would be like 26 minutes. Like, make it as long as you need to. Make it as many episodes as you need to. If that's what you need to tell the story and you don't need any more, do it.
It's like reading a book.
Don't put
Sometimes you
filler.
finish a really short chapter. You know.
No, nobody needs senseless filler. And if that's, you know, because that's what a lot of studios used to do is say, okay, this show needs to be 26 episodes. Well, I don't need 26 episodes. Make a filler. Do a recap episode. Who gives a shit? That's what we need, because that's why we can put more ads.
My story's only 12 episodes. Well, you better figure something out.
Right.
Better have side quests.
Right.
See, it's funny because there's good and bad. I love the fact that most of the seasons now are maybe 6, 10, 12 episodes, you know, fit for the story they want to tell. What I don't like is that it takes forever to get new seasons. Like
Yes.
in the old, you know, network days, that fall
was like
TV, your
every
new shows
year,
are all
yeah.
coming back. You got, you know, every year you got
Yeah.
it back, and now, you know, you'll get 2 and 3 years between seasons of stuff, and it's just it hurts because, you know, you want to clue back in, and, you know, maybe this adds to the rewatchability of previous seasons. They're like, hey, if we wait 3 years for the next season of House of Dragon, a lot of people are going to rewatch seasons 1 and 2, so, you know, we'll get those extra viewing minutes and stuff. Who knows what they think, but it would be nice
The
if
thing
they
I don't
came.
like about that is the thing that happened with Stranger Things, like where the actors outgrow the role that they're in. You know, that there's a danger in that. There's also a danger in like the writers outgrowing. They're like the
Losing
mindset
interest.
they were in. yeah, they were in a certain mind space when they wrote this season, and hey, let's build off that, but come back in 3 years, you're not in the same mind space.
Yep.
You got to keep it rolling. In my mind, at least 8 episodes a year. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, I don't think it is
Well,
either.
You gentlemen have recently dipped your toes into the anime waters. And now that you're realizing what all these studios are doing with these, major shows, how it's taking 2 or 3 years for a new season to come out, now you know what anime fans have been dealing with for years. This is a constant in the world of anime. You'll get a season of a show, and then like 4 or 5 years later, they'll suddenly it's like, oh, I forgot that existed, and you'll get like a new season. This it literally just happened. So I was scrolling through Crunchyroll the other night, and I noticed up in the the recommended section, it was like, hey, you should check out this. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't watched that in like 4 or 5 years, and I'm like clicking, all right, well, what's going on? Did they update something? Season 4. I'm like, whoa, hold up, a new season. What's going on? Like, what? When did this happen? And they do that like every now and again. It's like no real fanfare. It's just like, hey, yeah, they decided to do a whole new season, or they made a movie, and it's like, it's been like 6 years, guys. What? What the hell?
I know. I couldn't wait for that third movie for Sex and
You wanna finish that?
Okay, guys.
Well, on that note, perhaps we should find someone to rate. It is getting later in the evening here in
Yes,
the
it
Eastern
is.
time zone.
I suppose you are right. So I see Geely plays with only 25 people. Let's see here. We've got Tiny Velker with 13. Graduating with 3. What do you all think? What looks good?
Any of
Fantastic
those.
B with 682.
Let's
Yeah,
do
I'm not
graduate.
seeing,
All
yeah,
right.
do that.
Sounds good. I like it. So, just so all of you fine and wonderful folks know, especially those of you in YouTube land, what we're getting ready to do is over on Twitch, they let you do something called rating. What that lets you do is take everybody that is watching you on Twitch and kind of ship them over to another channel so we can keep the party going. It's usually somebody that we recommend. These are friends of the channel. So that's what we're getting ready to do on Twitch. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't do anything like that, but if you love us anyway and you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Share with your friends, ring the bell, leave a comment. We love you, and we can't wait to see you next time.
That's right. We'll be back Thursday night. Oh no, we'll be back Monday. This is Thursday.
Monday.
Next Monday, talking episode 4 of The Penguin. We're looking forward to it. It's been a great show, and we will see you guys then, hopefully.
Hey, fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.